Good morning, it's Rebecca from Libra Lights with your weekly soul guidance for week commencing the 29th of August 2022. How are you? I hope you had a lovely week last week. For today I thought, well, I'm being drawn to looking into retrogrades for this week. So we're currently in one retrograde and there's another one coming in September, and I thought it would be fun to pull some cards for guidance on how we can navigate or journey through those retrogrades. Before I get going though, because I know I'll forget to tell you at the end, there's no weekly soul guidance next week because I'm on holiday. I'm going back to Portugal for a week, so there won't be any next week. But if you're wanting to still receive weekly soul guidance, if you go into the description on this video, there's a link to where all the other weekly soul guidances are. So if you missed a week, you can just go and catch up with that next Monday. So we're currently in Uranus Retrograde. So that began on August the 24th and it's going on until January the 23rd next year. So Uranus as a planet is all about awakening, and it's all about change. So it creates quite a stir, Uranus does. So that would be the case if Uranus was moving forward. It brings surprises, it encourages innovation. But when it's going backward in retrograde, as it is at the moment, what that tends to do is encourage us to look inward. So no external displays of change, but looking inward and having a big think about maybe changing big parts of our lives. So maybe relationships, career, where we live. So this is what you can expect to come up for you up until January the 23rd. The other retrograde I'm going to talk about is the Mercury retrograde that's not coming until mid-September. I'll tell you the date in a minute. You won't feel this Uranus retrograde as much as you will the Mercury retrograde, because Uranus as a planet moves slower than Mercury. So Uranus tends to build up and up over time in terms of the effects that you feel from it. So the signs that will feel this Uranus retrograde the most are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio and Aquarius, because it is a Uranus in Taurus retrograde. So I'm Taurus moon, and those signs, it's whatever astrological sign it's in, whether it's your rising, your moon, your sun sign, your moon sign, or your rising. What you can also expect to happen between now and January the 23rd is like progress is quite slow, because remember it's in retrograde, not moving forward. So change can be quite slow. And technology, which is ruled by Uranus, could have some hiccups as well. You could find that technology is a bit of a trouble for you. So what can we do? Slow down, get conscious, go inward. And one of the things that might happen during this Uranus retrograde is you might be want to get more involved in things like activism or maybe community work, because you're starting to think about how can I affect change in those areas. So it's more internally and thinking about things. But let's pull some cards on the Uranus retrograde and then we'll go into the Mercury retrograde. So first of all, I'm going to use the Magical Dimensions deck by LightStar. Beautifully illustrated cards. So let's ask this deck give it 3 shuffles and then 3 splits, because I have to do everything in 3s. Anybody else big on the number 3? So first split. Sorry if there's noisy background. I've got my window open because it's quite hot today. Okay, so what advice can Spirit give us on coping with this Uranus retrograde? We've got the root chakra card. Wow. And it's number 33. And I just talked about doing things in threes. How weird. So I did 3 shuffles and 3 splits of the deck. So 33. Don't you just love how Spirit works? So obviously this card is telling us that during the Uranus retrograde it's important to keep grounded. And we can obviously do that by imagining roots going from our root chakra down through our legs and our feet into the core of Gaia, and asking Archangel Sandalphon to secure those roots for us. But it is important about keeping grounded between now and January the 23rd. So however you do that, that's one way. Imagining roots going down into the centre of Earth. For you, it could be walking in nature. It could be cooking. Cooking could ground you. Cooking a nice meal. It says vitality, stability and survival. Yeah, if we're not grounded, we could go into this fearful place during this retrograde. Sometimes it's a bit scary looking inwards, isn't it? Often we do everything we can to not have to go inward. So this is where addictions come in. We spend money we don't have. We drink more alcohol than we should have because we don't want to look inward. So if you struggle with looking inward, make sure you're doing this grounding before you take on that challenge. So what animal? I'm going to use the Spirit Animal Oracle, and I have forgotten the lady's name. I should tell you, 1 minute. It's Collette Baron-Reid, Spirit Animal Oracle. Let's see what animal's coming through for us. One, 2, 3, and 3 splits. 1, 2, 3. It is the horse. Gorgeous. Horses are all about freedom. So we need to adopt. Are you having a laugh? Look at the number of the card. 33. Okay. Loving this video. Metatron's having a laugh. Metatron's my spirit guide if you don't know me. And he's killing himself laughing at the moment. But thank you for this amazing confirmation that Spirit is definitely with us. So I think during this Uranus retrograde we need to adopt this number 3. So 3 is a great representation of the balancing of the masculine and the feminine. Because you've got 1, the number 1 represents masculine, the number 2 represents feminine. So together, obviously they make up 3, and it's the divine balance of the masculine and feminine. But this horse spirit, I mean, isn't it beautiful when you see wild horses running? And I know that we get that in the forest that's on the southern coast of England, of which I've forgotten the name, which I do regularly in my videos. Do you notice? It's the energy coming in. You can go and see wild horses or ponies running free there, and it's lovely to see them in that kind of habitat, in that environment where they're just roaming free. And this Uranus retrograde is asking us to adopt this freedom energy. The retrograde may make us feel like we are a bit trapped because it's encouraging us to go inward. But don't look at it in that way. By going inward, it will bring about this great freedom for you. And finally, I'm going to pull an affirmation card for the Uranus retrograde. So this affirmation that comes out, remember this from now until January the 23rd, and repeat it as often as you can. It will help you with the energy. So this is actually from a deck. I used to do an exercise program online with BeachBody, and the exercise program that I did was called BarreBlend, which was a mix of Pilates and ballet. And as part of signing up to that program, you got this deck of affirmation cards. They're called the I Am cards. So I don't know if you can buy them separately. You'll have to give it a Google. But let's see what affirmations coming up for the Uranus retrograde. 1, 2, 3. I am transforming. I have the power to change, learn and grow. And isn't that funny? Uranus moving forward is all about change. Uranus moving backward through a retrograde is about internal change. So having a big think internally about what you can change. And this card basically says that. So from now until January the 23rd, repeat this affirmation. I am transforming, to help with this energy you're going to get from the retrograde. I am transforming. And there's another one at the bottom there. I have the power to change, learn and grow. So write that down on a post-it note, stick it on your wall, keep it until January the 23rd, when Uranus will be moving forward again. So great messages there for the Uranus retrograde. Let's move on to the Mercury retrograde now. This is going retrograde on the 9th of September, but we are in the shadow period of it, so you could be feeling it now. Now with retrogrades, I don't want anybody to have fear about an upcoming retrograde, because it's a great time for reflection. And it can be a blessing in disguise if you take advantage of these retrogrades. It's just asking you to think differently. Now, Mercury is all about communication, the planet Mercury. So what we can expect to see here is mix-up in communications. Now, this retrograde goes on to October the 1st, my birthday. It's in Libra and Virgo, I think. Yes, Libra and Virgo. I'm a Libra. So it's going to affect Libra and Virgos the most. So it starts off in Libra and then moves into Virgo. As I said, Mercury is like all to do with communication, the ruler of information. When it goes into retrograde, all that we've got to do is make sure that we're being extra diligent. So it's a good opportunity to make sure that we're checking everything. Checking any contracts. So say if you're getting a new job, you want to double check the contract and be really diligent. If you're going on a trip, you want to plan for things that could go wrong. So making sure you've got your breakdown cover sorted, all those kind of things. Like think what could go wrong and just plan for it. Proofread everything. Think about the words that are coming out of your mouth before you say them. If you can, it's not a good time to really start anything new during this period. So just try and wait until after October the 1st. And it's just a good time to tie up like loose ends or finish things, like things you've been putting off. Just get them finished. Don't start anything new. Just finish things that you've been putting off. And sorting through those skeletons in your closet. It's a good time for that as well. So let's see what the LightStar deck. Now, because it's in Libra, now us Libras are all about harmony and balance. We might feel a bit unsettled during this period. So just bear that in mind. So 1 cup, 2 cups, and 3 cups. So what help can Spirit, what guidance can Spirit give us? Trust. These are gorgeous cards. So it's just about trusting. As I said, don't go into fear with these retrogrades. Just trust that everything's going to be okay whilst being diligent. It says overcoming doubts, insecurities and patience. And there's a lot of gorgeous blue and greens in here. So throat and heart chakra. Throat and heart. So remember I said think about what's coming out of your mouth before you say it. And heart chakra. Always tune into your heart before you speak. Because you can't go wrong. If everything's heart-centered in what you do during this retrograde, you can't go wrong. Now, that there looks like a volcano to me. So there is chance of eruptions during this retrograde, which is to be expected, isn't it, if we're going to have disruption to plans. So just anticipate that there are going to be this disruption to things. And if you anticipate it happening and how you're going to deal with it and that you're going to stay calm, then we're not going to have these volcanic eruptions. That to me as well, there looks like a pillow. Does it to you? Almost like that's a little bed. So I think Spirit is saying we need to get some extra rest during this period. We are coming up to, I know we don't want to think about it, but autumn and winter where we start to hibernate and slow down. And I'm loving, it's funny, isn't it? They look like leaves going all the way around her. Again, that's making me think of autumn and letting go, the trees letting go of the leaves. We've got the planet Earth behind her. So much on this card. And then the letters, trust. And that's number 42. So during this Mercury retrograde, just trust that everything's going to work out okay. There might be some interruptions to the normal routine, but in the end, everything's going to be okay, and just trust in the universe. Let's see what animal wants to come through for us. 1, 2, 3. 1. I nearly only did 1 cut then. 2, 3. The wolf, the mighty wolf. Number 67. Beautiful animal spirit to come through. So wolf's all about, well, with this card it says turning knowledge into wisdom. And it is about being wise during this Mercury retrograde, isn't it? As I said, expecting things to go, not according to plan, and preparing yourself for that so that you react in the right way is wisdom. And this wolf is coming through to help you with this wisdom. And having your eyes open. This is what this video is about. It's about making you aware that we're about to go into a Mercury retrograde, so you know what to expect. So it's not going to be a surprise when these interruptions happen to your plans. Yeah, you're ready and prepared. This video and this wolf spirit is helping you to be wise about this Mercury retrograde that's happening until October the 1st. And let's get an affirmation for you. Wow. I'm shuffling in go very well here. And 3 splits. 1, 2. So this is your affirmation for the Mercury retrograde. Aha. I am irresistible. Nice. Doesn't that look like a dolphin there? Wow. I think dolphin energy is coming in here. And that's like a gorgeous orb. Almost as if the dolphin's shooting that orb out of its third eye. Interesting. So, I am irresistible. I want you to go through this Mercury retrograde saying that to yourself and putting out that energy. So it says at the bottom of the card, another affirmation for you. When I rise into my confidence, I attract positive people and opportunities. We want that, don't we? When I rise into my confidence, I attract positive people and opportunities. So do not let this Mercury retrograde knock your confidence. Don't walk through it being fearful, because you will attract things of that vibration. We're going to go into it. I mean, it doesn't start till, I think it's the 9th of September, but we're in shadow. We're going into this with confidence, saying and utterly believing that we are irresistible to good vibrations, to opportunities, to good things coming into our life. They just can't help but be attracted to us. So write that down on a post-it, have it on the wall until October the 1st, when Mercury starts to go forward again. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments. As I said, I'm going to be on holiday now, so there'll be no weekly soul guidance next week, and I'll see you the week after, but thanks for joining. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video. It helps more people see it. And if you can, share it on your YouTube channel. Really appreciate it. Okay, goodbye.